Sorry, I always have to re-sign back into my 501 account because our YouTube doesn't work any other way on our Wi-Fi. Ready?
Good.
Yep, we're good.
All right. Good evening.
Hello.
Hope you all have had positive first couple of days of school. Appreciate you coming tonight. I know it's been a busy few days for you, so thank you.
Yeah, I think we're tired, but it's been good.
Good.
Lots of happy kids, so that's what matters.
How would you like to start tonight?
I mean, I think we're still waiting for a response to our package. I have copies of that again if we need those, so. If you guys need copies of the package again, I have them available. So if you want to start there, we can, or if you guys have them still and just have a response, that's fine too.
We were not good with the package proposal as presented.
Okay,
We have prepared some counter language on Article 43 that we can share.
okay. One for Dina? If you have it, actually, we'll take it, but.
Do we have an extra for Gary?
Mhm. Thank you so much.
Okay, if you flip to page 3. Our original counter proposal, we had removed the sick leave rebate and replaced it with the sick leave conversion. And so we added back in that original sick leave rebate. We don't have a large number of people that take advantage of that, but we do have some. And then on the sick leave conversion, on item 2, we reduced it to 10 accumulated sick days. And on item 3, we reduced it to 5 or fewer. So just lessening the requirements to be able to be eligible to participate in the conversion program. Also want to clarify that the opportunity to be eligible would occur during the 26-27 school year on June 30th. Then that's when the 2 days would convert over and be used for the 27-28 school year. The sunset language is intended so that it can be reviewed and then potentially, noticed for the following year.
Okay. Similar to what we did with the 8 class period schedule.
Yes.
Anybody have any questions?
I think again, that we hear the desire for some more flexibility with the days. But also really focusing on making it an incentive for those who are here and trying to recognize that.
Yep. Yeah, we'll look that over. If you weren't interested in the package, do you have a proposal to counter the package or?
Well, I think that our salary schedule in Article 38, as we have previously presented, are still on the table. We still feel really good about increasing to step 26, going to a percentage-based raise for staff, and increasing the contribution towards health insurance premiums.
I think we've just addressed most of these articles separately, so I think from our view, stapling them together didn't really change the substance in it, so we're still kind of talking about individual ones with you. If there's one in particular you want to discuss more closely, we'd be happy to do that.
I mean, I think we felt like putting together a package was a way to try to in the past, I think our thing has always kind of been, we TA this, we talk about this, we table this, we go over here, and then we get around to talking about money. And I think what we were trying to do was find a way to, I want to use the word incentivize, and that's not correct. It's been a very long day. We were trying to find a way to make the compensation package seem like something that the bargaining unit would accept, and give them some other things maybe that they had asked for, because we knew that what we were offering them in that package was lower than what they had said that they would accept. And so we were trying to find a way to offset that, there's the word I was looking for, to offset that in a way and provide them something else that had something else's that had come up over and over and over again, not just this year, but in past years too, from folks, as a way to kind of be like, hey, we understand the concern, but we understand your concern, and we're trying to meet somewhere in the middle there. So
And I think that our attempt to get closer, was, adjusting that language in our.
yeah, I think what I feel like I've heard since the last time we met really is, I appreciate that that's what you feel like you're doing. What I'm hearing is that's not how people feel. We heard you when you said that you came to the table with the max amount that you had to offer, but people feel like we came to the table with a number, you came back, we came back lower to try to meet in the middle somewhere. You came back with the same number. Like, that's not meeting in the middle as far as they're concerned. And I can't say that I blame them. So I think, I know that you feel like that's what you're doing, but I have to just tell you that what I'm hearing is people disagree. So I just want to make sure that people that are reaching out feel like what they're saying is being heard. Because I know that I'm not probably the only one on this side of the table that hears it a lot. A lot of my time is people reaching out. I did want to, though, address the documents that you guys had handed out. The chart things that you've given us. I know that nobody at the table has these except all the 12 of us, but the one that you did, the total salary increase per step amount, doesn't math correctly. So it's my understanding that the way that this works is that this amount that you have, the very first one in the BS column, would be the amount of money that a person that is currently on base pay would receive as an increase next year, which is now this year, next contract year, because this is the step they would now be on. Correct? Like, we assume they would get their year of experience and step down, right?
Yep.
So it's my understanding that this number starts actually on the third step, not on the second step of the salary schedule. So my math says that this percent should make that the the 2.315% plus their step should make this number 1,681. Not the 1,692.22. Does that make sense? I maybe didn't explain that well, sorry.
It's just hard to kind of picture just verbally hearing it. So,
Yeah.
I mean, maybe. If you have something with notes that you want us to go back and kind of clock us.
I made a sticky note
Okay,
comment.
do that.
Yeah, no, I mean, I literally just wrote, the first one should be 1,681 question mark.
So the process of how we get to our calculations, and we have folks that are taking data from the Munis system, which is our
Right,
system of record for employees. So we know how many people were currently on each one of those steps, and then we take that one step down movement and any other changes that we made and get to the total number. Is it the grand total?
no, so each individual step. My understanding is that this starts at what would be step, like 1 year of experience, so step B, like down, because you didn't have, like, step A wouldn't increase for them because they'd be a new teacher, so you're not getting an increase really. So I understood why we didn't do it on the first level.
Okay.
But when I become a second year teacher in the 26-27 contract year, I would step from A to B. And my understanding was this number should be the amount of money that I would gain on my paycheck from last year to the 26-27 check, right?
Yes.
Okay, but my math says that this number should be 1,681. Your math says 1,692.22. So I'm just trying to figure out where I had a bunch of math people look at that today, and they told me that that number they thought should have started on step C, not step B. So I'm just trying to figure out if that's where this got off or how that number came up.
It's entirely possible that there was an error made in formulas when putting together that particular sheet. Because those were things that we were doing really quickly in caucus in between sessions, but I would have to review it more and see. I don't have my laptop right here. It's back in our caucus room.
Right.
So we could certainly look at that closer. If we'd like some clarification on that, sure.
Yeah, I mean, again, as pointed out last time, I want to make sure that what I'm bringing to the bargaining unit and asking about is correct to the best of its ability. And I had just assumed that these numbers were correct, and then today went, I don't know that that's right.
Yeah.
So,
And we want to be really clear with our math too and transparent about it. So if we don't see immediately what the discrepancy is, at the very least, I can bring back the actual spreadsheet and maybe put it on the big screen where we can show the formulas and how we got to that figure. So.
okay, yeah, that'd be great. I think we would love a little bit of time to talk about this 43. If that's okay. I have 5:45. Can we do 20 minutes, 5 after?
Yep.
Okay. Ready?
Yeah.
So I think our team, we appreciate, that you guys are made some movement to try to make some more people eligible, for that incentive. We aren't opposed to the idea. We, however, don't know that we feel like it really gets at the heart of what we feel like we're hearing, and we're trying really hard to communicate on behalf of the bargaining unit. I don't think it's any secret that money is always the thing everybody wants to talk about. I don't think it's any secret that life is getting more expensive for everyone. I don't think it's any secret that we are all painfully aware that we have never had raises that keep up 100% with inflation and the increase in insurance cost. Like, we are well aware of those things. So I think for us, we kind of discussed a little bit that like, maybe we just aren't being clear in what we're hearing. And so we were wanting to share some of those comments with you guys, just to make sure that everybody's on the same page about what we're just hearing over and over and over again from people. In our original survey, in our follow-up surveys, and the follow-up survey since the follow-up survey. I think we're on like our fourth round of surveys at this point, so we just are getting so many comments and things back. So we just, if that's helpful, we're gonna read some of those, I guess. So we have things, everything from, I could retire right now, draw capers and teach in a Kansas City, Missouri school, and I don't understand why a Kansas school would want to lose experienced teachers to Missouri. To, I think we definitely need to look at a salary/pay increase for all staff who work in specialized schools. We're currently working with numerous vacancies on a daily basis in a violent and hostile environment every single day. I would like administration to look into teachers that get paid more for every additional student over 22 students, because 26 students in a classroom should get paid more than someone who only has 17. The plan time given to elementary teachers is just not sufficient. We need more time to plan, or we need more money to do so. I would like to see an increase in compensation for leads and building team leaders that coordinate PLCs and building level professional development. Preparations for these responsibilities are done outside of the teacher's duty day. It's honestly so shady that we have sick and personal leave as two separate things, and that they don't roll over equally year to year. Teachers need support. I hear that 800 times a day. I think that's on almost every single one of these. And then we have people that just take the time to say, which we appreciate so much, to say thank you for being the voice for every staff member and advocating for positive working conditions and fair compensation for work done on behalf of students. Other people just comment and ask us questions about, is our insurance gonna go up again this year? People say things like, the salary increase should be commensurate with the 7% inflation that the economy faced earlier. Salary increases have not kept up with inflation, and as teachers, we make less money now and have less local spending power than when I began teaching 18 years ago. I think moving sick and personal time to just paid time off is long overdue. It's so hard to submit personal leave requests 2 weeks in advance to accommodate family events or things that pop up, and it's just really stressful. Again, thank you all for all that you do. I just don't know if I feel like only $1,000 on the base would be enough. But if we start higher and we have a ton of wiggle room to negotiate down, maybe that's better. I always feel like those of us veterans get very little movement on the pay scale, and that the newbies that tend to not stay 20+ years are rewarded for having a job. So I could go, I mean, I'm on page 3, like I could go of. This one has 10. I have others that have 17. So, I mean, I could just go on and on and on. So I just think that we're just feel like we're trying really hard to understand, that we feel like we are trying so hard to understand what all of these people are telling us and represent a very, I mean, as you know, a very large group of people, and take the things that they have told us year after year after year and just really go to bat for that. And we just feel like the things that we're saying here at the table are not being heard in their entirety. Pieces of those things are being taken, and that's great that we're getting at least a portion of it out there, but we just need us to look at the bigger picture, I think, is where we are. So I understand that packages have not been a thing that we've done in the past. I don't know that we feel like we can get past that at this point because of all of the things that we're hearing from people. Like, this is the first survey I ever sent. Like, it's only gotten worse, I promise. Like, I'll pull that up right now and read it to you. It's like, people are just, then we did open enrollment. Like, people are terrified right now. Like, people are making really hard choices when it comes to money, and then to put them in a classroom and be in charge of 20 young impressionable minds every day. People are so overwhelmed, like, and we just have to find a way to do something that's better than what we've got right now on the table. Like, I'm just trying to be honest.
I think that we're not as far apart as maybe you feel.
Oh, I
think
agree.
that
No, I
there are
agree.
many things that you just read off that I'm like, yeah, yeah, I get it. And we all want teachers to stay. We want to retain. That's why we moved to the percentage, because it is more advantageous to our veteran teachers. Like, we hear that. Like, I wish I could say, surprise, we're giving you 15%. I would love to be able to do that.
We would love that. Yeah.
You know, but there are limits that we have to work with it. And even the PTO, it comes with a cost.
I guess our thing is we don't understand how you can, I don't disagree. We're not disagreeing that there's a budget and there are constraints and all of the things. And I can say 100 times that we haven't utilized our entire mill levy. Like, we all know that, and we know that we could pull money with that. I can't make you use it. It's fine. I'm a taxpaying citizen in our district. I understand what that does to people's costs and things. Like, it's not, I understand the cycle here. Like, but I just don't like, but then to sit at a table and tell me that we want to be able to evaluate how that is gonna, I don't know how we evaluate that if we don't make a movement, right? Like, if we don't ever expand on the way that people can use their sick leave, how do we ever know if it's gonna, I mean, I can say till I'm blue in the face that all it's gonna do is mean people aren't gonna have to lie as much. But I don't know, maybe I'm wrong, maybe you're wrong, I don't know. But I don't know how we ever determine that one of us is right or wrong, or it's somewhere in between the two. If we never make a movement one way or the other, we just say, here's the thing, and we're gonna evaluate. How do you evaluate that? If you never make a change, even a little step, right? Like, and I get that, like, this thing that you've presented is your way of trying to say, like, we get it, people need some more flexibility and some more time, but like, I'll be honest, the thing I hear from people is, why would I even bother to take advantage of it? Right? The system is working for me right now. I just lie about it and use sick leave. And then nobody can come back later and tell me that I shouldn't have used it on that day. Yep. I mean, I can't tell they're wrong. I don't want to encourage people to lie, but I can't tell them they're wrong. Because I have people all the time that reach out to me that are told that my principal approved it and then it was taken away and deducted on the back end because it actually wasn't supposed to be allowed, even though my admin said it was fine. They didn't even know when they left work that day that they weren't going to get paid for the rest of the day. They thought they'd done what they were supposed to do. I mean, so I don't know how I'm not saying that we're not close. I'm just saying that I don't know how we ever determine if something is going to cost us the amount of money that you or your team or whoever thinks it will, or I say that it's not going to, if we never make any sort of a movement in any way. So I guess like, let's start with that. Like, could we figure out a way to meet in the middle more about, is there a restriction we could loosen on 43 that you would be comfortable with like for the next year to see how that goes? Like, is there one thing in that article that we could look at and say, maybe this is the one area that we could say is like, okay, we could see why this is maybe a little more restrictive than people want it to be, and so they're just lying to us. So like, let's change the one thing and see how much worse it gets. Because maybe that's only gonna cost us, you know, $18,000 this year instead of whatever we think it's gonna cost us. I don't know.
So we had the conversation just briefly in the hallway, even as we're walking down this way, of if we wanted to try and put a dollar figure on what that would cost, the move to PTO where there's not really rules attached. And I don't know that there's any way that you would do it to be able to know what might somebody decide if there's no restrictions. Is everyone?
I want to be really clear that my proposal has the same restrictions as the article has, just written out in a different way. And all I've done is gone from 6 days a year to 8 days a year and changed the definition of immediate family member. I want to be really clear that I didn't really remove restrictions. I agree. If you're gonna be gone more than 3 days in a row and require us to have a sub in-house in your room for 3 days or like, yes, provide me a note, please. Yep, I agree. So I just wanna be, like, I feel like we keep coming back to this and like the comments have been made about people are gonna use it as vacation and whatever, like. I spent a lot of time putting that language together and trying to keep as much of those restrictions that I felt like were reasonable in place. So I want to be really clear that I didn't just say, you can just take your leave whenever you want. That's not what my proposal says. And if you need a copy of it again, I can give you a copy of it again, but that's not what it says. So I'm sorry to interrupt. Please keep going.
It's okay. I think where we were at is just how you would try to extrapolate what that cost would be. We know that every absence costs a sum. And that's what we're trying to make sure doesn't explode more than we can budget for. And when you can't put a price tag on it, you don't know what to hold to the side to budget for it. That's just a really tough one. So I think that's why we approached it from, is there something measured that we can put a price tag on and we can try and get to where there's some more flexibility, but we know what it's going to cost. We know how many subs we need to be able to provide that coverage. So it's not that we don't agree that providing some more flexibility would be good. We'd like to do that. Or we wouldn't have come with that proposal at all. We would have just said, we really need it to stay with the language as is. We've countered because we think there's a way to make measured progress towards something more in a way that doesn't become unpredictable. Because unfortunately, what I can't do is I can't go over to the state capitol and negotiate with them on what our state funding is going to be. I wish that I could. We negotiate, but that's why we come to you with the proposals that we know that we can fund, because they don't give us a choice. We get the money that we get. And we're trying to do the best that we can. We've talked about, the negotiation on the pay rates and meeting in the middle. And I think we've got to be really careful and intentional about our language that we use around that, because what we're hearing is that you want us to come in next year with a rate below what we know we can afford, knowing that we're gonna negotiate and end up higher. And I don't think that's what you mean, but that's what it sounds like. And what we're trying to do is be extremely transparent from the beginning. So on this article, if you'd like us to go and just spend some time reviewing your language again, I'm willing to do that. That's fine. If you are willing to think about, could you see some benefit to trying what we've proposed? Or is there something a little bit closer to the middle on that one that we can go?
Yeah, I think, again, like I said when I started, I don't think we're opposed outright to the language. We just don't feel like the language really gets at the heart of what we're trying to do. And I don't know how I can't go to a bargaining unit year after year after year after year after year and say, well, we can't do it because we don't know how much it's gonna cost. We can't do it because we don't know how, yep. I don't know how many of how many buildings did you say we have? 62?
62 buildings that we have insurance.
Okay.
Yes.
I can't predict how many of those buildings this year are going to need, just like the year we needed to replace 15, I think you said, roofs or something like that. Like, I can't predict. That might be 5 this year. It might be 1, it might be 0, it might be 23. Right? Like, I get it. I understand that there are things that happen that we can't predict, but I guess we just feel like we've tried so hard to go to the bargaining unit, figure out what they wanted, take what they wanted, and still be very real. I mean, 3 hours? We spent 3 hours poring over the budget to make sure that the proposal that we brought to the table was something that we felt like could be funded. Like, and I will admit up front, I'm not your director of finance. I'm not in charge of money. I'm not a math teacher. I will admit that up front. But we really felt like we were trying to take what the bargaining unit was saying they needed in order to survive, not go on a vacation to Florida, to survive every day and live comfortably in a place that doesn't require them to be stressed every day just about whether I'm gonna buy dog food this week or food for my children. Like whether I'm gonna decide that I need to downsize a 2-bedroom apartment to a 1-bedroom apartment because I can't afford my rent anymore. Like, we're not talking about people that live in a house with 2.5 bathrooms and 4 bedrooms and an upstairs and a downstairs and a 3-car garage. Like, we're talking about people that live in a 2-bedroom apartment or a 1-bedroom apartment that are finding people to go live with because they cannot afford their rent anymore. Like, we tried so hard to take all of those concerns, look at the budget and come up with a number that maybe wasn't exactly what they asked for, but was as close as we felt like we could get and come to the table. Then you came back with a counter that you felt like was the max you could offer. I appreciate that that's what you say. And that's how you feel. And that's what you felt like after you looked at the budget. Because again, not the director of finance. But then we went back to the table and came down almost 1 entire percentage point to try to meet in the middle somewhere. To be like, okay, maybe not. We're talking about, how much did you say was the difference?
At most 500 and, let me get the exact number, $514 difference. From
So I just like,
the
we
schedule
feel like
the most.
we tried so hard to come down to a place that was still reasonable for people, that we felt like we could get them to understand why the number is the number. And then to come to the table and say, okay, we've tried here. What about this? And then we're still at 2.315%. Okay. So no, I didn't mean to imply that I came to the table with an offer and I wanted to lowball and then raise and all the no. I really tried to be as reasonable as possible in the very beginning. But I also then tried to take what I heard at the table and be reasonable to come back, because we should be trying to compromise. I get it. But I just don't know how I can take that number and go any lower when I've already gone down almost an entire percentage point, but your number hasn't moved. And you haven't given me anything else to say, here's something else that maybe would help people out a little bit, to give them the flexibility on how to take their leave or give them an extra day or two or whatever that is. And that I don't know what to do with that. That's where I'm at. So we are happy to go look at this language again. We would love for you to review it again and look at it and come back with maybe another thing in the middle. I don't know, but that's where I'm at. People are frustrated, and I'll be honest, I'm frustrated by listening to the frustration. Like, it's a lot. People are stressed out and overwhelmed. And I don't know where we are after that, I guess. Cause I don't know how I can go down 0.96% and then I don't know where I'm supposed to go from here.
Period.
Yep. It is 6:28. How long do we want to do?
7 o'clock.
Okay, we'll see you then.
We didn't think to me.
Yeah.
Full as.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah. Quiet, please.
All right, we spent our time looking at language and came up with a counter proposal that we feel like could work for us. This just is a section C, conditions of use. And our intent would be that what we've already passed for the conversion program would remain.
Okay. Hey, Billy, will you check the computer while you're there? I lost
Uh,
video for some reason.
Oh, probably I stepped on something.
The camera's just off.
Oh, the video's just off.
Well, this,
I think that's my charger. I just
Oh,
plugged it.
okay. So what do I need to do?
hit
Video.
video.
The owl lit back up, so that's good.
Okay, we were willing to remove the and the reason therefore. Like you said, some of the language is a little repetitive. Obviously, it's being used for sick leave. We were willing to give on from 6 days to 7 days. We added language around licensed physician to include nurse practitioner or physician assistant. Also added that language around the nurse practitioner and physician assistant to number 4.
Would we consider a psychiatrist or a psychologist a licensed physician?
Psychiatrist, yes.
But not psychologist? I'm just trying to think like mental health wise, like if there would be a concern if someone. I mean, I don't see it like a psychologist or a psychiatrist, like I know there's LMSWs that practice, like LSCSWs, so I just want to make sure, like, would we be interested in potentially looking at adding language to just be inclusive of all health providers, like adding something about a mental health, a licensed, I don't know.
We had quite a bit of discussion around that language. And settled on those. I mean, we would be willing to consider a counter proposal.
Okay. Any other questions, you guys? No.
In the immediate, if somebody doesn't change anything about.
We'll look at that.
We can look at that. We can look at that. We can.
Okay, yep. We didn't type of any specific language. We had a lot of conversation though around, we felt like your current proposal doesn't actually provide any offset this year. So I think what we want to do is look at trying to figure out a way to potentially integrate that language to take effect this, like in the 26-27 contract year, instead of we'll evaluate it. Like you become eligible in 26-27 and then you can use it in 27-28. Does that make sense?
So based on last year's data.
Right. So that's what I think we are wanting to try to do, is try to figure out a way to make that maybe. Yes, it would be great if it's like also in 27-28, but is there a way to try to include some of that for people that are already eligible in the 26-27 school year? Just so it's not like right now, it's like a delayed kind of thing that then goes away. So we're curious if there might be a way to figure out how to do that. We just haven't quite figured out what that would look like yet. So that's kind of how we spent our time.
And I think our thought was you would know about the incentive and the conversion program and have had the opportunity to earn it.
And we took, yes, and we don't disagree that, yes, we always want people to have time to, it's just like when we did the 8 class period schedule, like we want to give people time. And like the forethought to be able to plan those things out so that they can be eligible. But we just were trying to figure out if there's a way to also include some sort of a benefit of that for people that are already eligible this year, just so that we can then say it is a thing that you're getting to offset this year also, like, so that's what we just want to be able to look more at like specific funding numbers and things to make sure that whatever we bring to the table is, you know, we
Okay.
think is fiscally responsible.
And we have the data on who would have been eligible.
And I think you gave us
You know,
the
be able
number,
to
yeah,
assess that.
yeah,
What was it? 247.
247, okay,
That was the previous requirement.
yeah, okay. I think that's kind of where we are, we only have 10 minutes left. I think that's what we will work on between now and then.
Okay.
And then potentially looking at adding something about the mental health, somehow incorporating something else for that. But we appreciate you guys going back and looking at this and coming up with something that does loosen restrictions a little bit, and try to meet us a little bit in the middle there. So we do appreciate the effort there, and we know that you guys took a lot of time to do that. So we appreciate that. And we will be back together the 17th, right? Yep, 5:30 here.
Yep.
Okay, we'll see you then.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.